has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
I swear to God, when the show started, the Prime Minister was talking about that Crystal Palace game, and the draw was a nickel. And I was thinking, man, I wonder if they could tie Liverpool today. And I was like, nah, there's no way they can tie Liverpool. And then they tied Liverpool, and you could have had a nickel. I mean, Crystal Palace is awful. And the fact that they tied Liverpool is stunning. I mean, or is it more stunning that Man U keeps getting stomped every game? That guy Tag Hour, whatever his name is, you know, he ain't long for this world. They just hired him. They're going to fire him. I mean, the guy's been there 5 minutes. They're going to fire him. They can't even score a goal. They get beat every time they play.
There have been some stunning results for the big clubs in the Premier League so far. Only a few weeks into the season. He's not long for the job if that keeps up. Your man over there at Manchester United, as they are spending more money this year than any other team in the Premier League. They spend more than Man City, and they are not exactly getting their return, that's for sure. All right, more baseball from the weekend, Scotty. Braves beat the Marlins 3-1. They sweep 4 games over the weekend. I think Craig Mish tweeted it best yesterday. Pretty embarrassing from the Marlins. They got swept 4 games. They didn't face Max Fried. They didn't face Spencer Strider. They didn't face any of the Braves' best pitchers. And they still got swept over 4 games. In the 9th yesterday, William Contreras, Scotty, put the Braves ahead for good on Bally Sports South.
Contreras is 0 for 4 on the day. They've got 2 more aboard here in the 9th. Right back where it came from. It's a base hit on the infield. Throw to the plate is going to be late. Vaughn Grissom scores another run. Atlanta with 2 in the 9th has taken the lead.
Well, I got to tell you, more than anything else, I want to go back to Craig Mish. I thought he was great on that last episode of The Captain the other night. And he's a great reporter. He's a great guy. He does a great job with the shows he does here on Sports Grid. But I thought he really stood out in that episode 7 of The Captain. I thought he did a great job on that. And he told us on the show last week that beyond Sandy, this team cannot hit. They cannot score runs. And that Don Mattingly has had enough of it and wants to raise his young son. And he won't be the manager next year. So I think the guy, Scoop Mish, is right about everything, and I think he's probably right about Mattingly, and he's definitely right about the Marlins. They suck.
They certainly do. The Rays beat the Orioles 4-1 yesterday. Drew Rasmussen, Scotty, had a perfect game into the 9th inning. Unfortunately for him, he lost that, but the Rays still won the game. They are now 1.5 over the Orioles for that final wild card spot in the American League as they head to the Bronx. Reds beat the Cubs 8-5 yesterday. Mets beat the Phillies 6-0 after the 2 close, low-scoring games on Friday and Saturday. Yesterday, the Mets broke out the big stick, and there's no bigger stick than the great Daniel Vogelbach, Scotty, getting it done on SNY.
Vogelbach's 0 for 2 today, and he drives one to deep right field. Back goes Castellanos, takes a look, and it's out of here. Daniel Vogelbach with his 3rd home run as a Met, his 15th of the year.
It's a really good team, and what a great addition before the deadline to get that piece, that bat. He has hit a bunch of home runs now as a Met. It didn't take long for him to become a fan favorite. You know, he's over 2 in a game and then belts another one to right over the wall. I think he's been huge for the Mets. And I'm telling you, the game on the Scherzer game, they lost 2-1 in 10. That was unbelievable. And then DeGrom, 1-0 gem, is just sickening, throwing 95-mile-an-hour sliders. No one can touch him. He's the best pitcher in baseball, hands down, without a doubt. When he throws fastballs, 102, 103, I think his arm's going to fly off his shoulder. I know that. We welcome all of our radio affiliates, Sirius XM Channel 159, Sports Map, Sports Byline. Great to have you with us on a Monday, coast to coast.
A good weekend for the Guards, Scotty. They took 2 out of 3 in Toronto. Owen Miller, the RBI double yesterday on Bally Sports. Cleveland helping out the Guards.
Right field near the line. It'll get down and go to the wall.
On his way to third, Oscar Gonzalez, Mike Sarba going to wave him home. There will be no throw, and it's 5-1 Cleveland. Owen Miller with his second double of the day, and his 43rd run batted in of the year.
Yeah, I don't even care about that at this point. They're tied 1-1 with the Tigers right now in game one of the double day-night header you got going on there in Cleveland.
Yes, and the Guards do have a man on second, Scotty, in the bottom of the sixth with one out as they are trying to get that run home. They have now opened up a 2.5-game lead in the Central on both the Twins and the White Sox. The White Sox did sweep the Tigers this weekend, Scotty, but it don't help them if Cleveland is winning as well. Andrew Vaughn, the homer on NBC Sports Chicago.
Vaughn to left, well struck. Haas back at the wall, and Andrew Vaughn, it has been his weekend in Chicago. An insurance run brought home by Vaughn. It's 4-2 Sox.
Yeah, go figure. The White Sox start sweeping and winning, and they still don't matter.
That is very true. For the Tigers, Tariq Skubal, their best pitcher this year, goes on the 60-day IL, visiting an elbow specialist. Never good. He is shut down for the year, and the Twins lost 2 out of 3 in Anaheim to the Angels, who absolutely suck. Ohtani had an RBI hit yesterday, Scotty, so there you go. We will
That's
do
the
more.
end of the line. When you lose to them and you've already been lapped and the Cleveland Guardians are in first by 2.5 games, you are toast. Toast.
Your heart's racing. The clock's running out. It all comes down to this. We're talking pregame. 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 Get locked in with Game Time Decisions. Your hosts, Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, will get you ready for game time. Everything you need to know before a game goes off the board, with the best slips to back it up. Make your best bet with live odds updates, late breaking news, up-to-the-minute injury reports, and real-time analytics from inside the sportsbooks. All the odds, all the action, from sports wagering insiders and industry pros like Donnie Rightside, Cam Lou, Cousin Sal, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, and more. Get the winning edge every weekday afternoon from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 3 to 4 Pacific. It's Game Time Decisions. Only on Sports Grid. The early line.
The Phils are 18-1 in the National League pennant market. The next team is the Giants at 150-1. So clearly for the FanDuel Sportsbook, they've started to chop down who is legit in this race. Should we be talking more about the Phillies at a 18-1 number in the NL pennant?
Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, a very good 1-2 punch here. You have two guys that can raise the level of their performances. The Phillies, if they make the playoffs, they're not going to be an afterthought.
Only on Sports Grid. The morning after.
I look at Seattle, and I just look at the way that Tina Charles has been playing. Brianna Stewart most likely is going to be the MVP of the WNBA. They have so many pieces offensively. Tina Charles has changed that team dramatically. You can play her, Brianna Stewart, high-low. It allows the Storm to play chess while other teams play check. So that's where the value is. Don't sleep on the Washington Mystics, but I'm telling you, this is going to be fascinating.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
You want to take Jamar Chase as your number one wide receiver overall? I got no argument with you. None. Yeah. To me, it's either Chase or Justin Jefferson. Whichever way you want to go, I'm good with it. T. Higgins, I do have him in a couple of leagues. Jamar Chase is the better player. But, you know, I think Higgins could be the better value here because you get him 3 rounds later. The game planning is really to stop Jamar Chase. Higgins almost becomes an afterthought, and that's fantastic because he's a very good wide receiver in his own right.
The Sports Grid Network.
If you want to pick like a pro, you need to be in the know. The future of sports gaming is now, and we take you inside the lines, breaking down all the action and what it means for your bet slip. Turn down the game and tune into Sports Grid Radio. Other networks talk sports talk, but we walk the walk, right up to the window. Sports Grid Radio. Listen free on the Sports Grid Radio app, iHeart, or TuneIn, or catch us on SiriusXM Sports Grid Channel 159.
Rick Horrow is our sports business and legal insider on Sports Grid and on Coast to Coast. My longtime friend is back again, getting ready to pack the bags tonight, put Duke in the kennel, where the dog will be very angry when Rick comes home from his trip to Boston to hang out with his good friends, all the rich people at Harvard, as he lectures again about how to win lawsuits against people with lots of money. Here he is to talk about sports business, as usual, on C2C. Let's start with Serena. It's all over but the shouting. The U.S. Open should be some kind of scene with her arriving in New York and Flushing for one last trip.
Man, I've got that penciled in my calendar. I'm going to go to that first Monday night match. She's already scheduled. Hopefully she wins a while. And if she does get to the quarters and Venus does, they play each other, which would be unbelievable. But even more important than that, she transcended tennis. She's done, I think, more for tennis than Tiger's done for golf. We can debate that. It doesn't really matter. They're both icons in their respective sports. 23 majors at 40 years old. Tiger will go into the golf business and make trillions. Serena will do fashion. She'll do statesman stuff. She'll do business. She's on a lot of boards with her husband. So good for her. She is really turning the page.
There is no doubt that she's the most incredible tennis player I've ever seen in my life. And I think she's remarkable. And I loved watching her play tennis, and her sister. She will not make the quarters, her sister, of anything. Her sister is not good anymore.
Yeah.
But I'll say this.
Yeah.
No one transcended anything like Tiger Woods did. And no one cares about tennis to begin with. But golf, people care about golf. And Carver High got a golf addiction. Like, he bets on golf every day of the week. Even when they don't play, he's betting on golf. He'll go play putt-putt mini golf with people and bet on it. But I think Tiger Woods, what he did for golf is unequaled by anyone ever in anything. Nothing will touch that ever. I would argue that with you all day. How about Oscar?
2 points, real quick. 2 points. One is, we'll look back on that 5 years from now and see if you're right relative to Serena. Second, it's just because you play golf and you don't play tennis.
Actually, I played tennis my whole life, and I don't play golf anymore because I want to beat your ass every time I'm on a golf course with you, with that slow-ass swing of yours. He brings the club back and stops, and then he shoots scratch golf. Who stops in their backswing and then shoots scratch? Bothers the hell out of me that you're so good. I hate you.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's talk about Bill Russell. Nothing like having number 6 retired now. I'll give you that. He deserves it. But I got a hard time pushing the books against my man, Dr. J.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate that there is a 6 that's worn by another icon. Is this a Jackie Robinson 42, can't wear 6 forever? Well, maybe. Yep. The guy did transcend. Yeah, that's what it is. But I guess it's a hard discussion about Dr. J and Bill Russell. Bill Russell's 11 championships, 2 as a coach. I'm not going to argue this because there is no right answer. It is unfortunate, kind of by the way, that there is another icon wearing a number 6. We'll just leave it at that.
I won 11 championships in my league, and my son told me that I suck.
Well, I can't. I don't think he's going to ask for a second opinion. I certainly wouldn't disagree with him.
So I want to talk with you about the contracts that baseball writes to a guy like Fernando Tatis.
Right.
When are they going to change the language in these contracts that in any other profession or job, you have a morals clause, and drugs, felonies, murder, rape, sexual assault, you're done, you're finished, you're not getting a penny. But in baseball, you can shoot drugs and you still get all the money like Cano and this Tatis phony. When is baseball going to change their tune with these guaranteed deals?
I will give you an absolute answer that the morals clauses in baseball aren't as strong as they are in other sports, which is ironic because the guarantees are longer, as we know. And so my Sports Business Minute today, which will be up soon, is don't wish for a long-term contract. You may get what you wish for. And for all of these multi-years, including Sosa, you have a long-term deal. But yet, an 80-game suspension, blowing out the next part of this year's, but he's injured. So, but how about blowing out the early part of next year? And I totally and completely agree with you.
What would you do if you own the team and you have that kind of money? What would you do if you own the Padres and that kid did that to you? He's already barely played in 10, 20% of the games since he's been a pro. And then he misses this year with the bike wreck. And then he gets popped for PEDs and he's not going to play until next year. And you owed him $350 million. What would you do with him? Would you trade him?
Well,
get rid of him?
I would. Well, if you trade him, but who would take him? And I guess there are people that'll take him. But
would you pay the tab and trade him? Because you don't believe in him and you're done with him.
I may try to figure out how to get out of the tab. And by the way, my Harvard guys and girls are going to discuss exactly that tomorrow at 5. So stay tuned.
Well, I would love to be in that classroom. Honestly, I could learn something about, this kid screwed them over. And you know what?
Right.
There's an old song called Effing You Back. He deserves it back in spades. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson's deadline. I don't think they're going to meet it.
No, I don't think they're going to meet it either, but they're not treating it as a pressure deadline. His comments are, well, let's play out the season and figure it out. He is running his risk on his own body. I'm not sure an athlete that sets a deadline is a real deadline, but I guess he's going to tell his agent no negotiations when X day happens. And the Lamar Jackson contract and his presence is incredibly important. The way the Ravens are dealing with this now, they're looking for some stadium renovations. They're looking to make sure they take over the city. Look at the way the Orioles are playing. Lamar Jackson means a lot more today than he did even a couple of months ago.
What about Deshaun? He's going to be loved in Cleveland and hated everywhere else.
Well, I'm not sure about the loved in Cleveland yet, but you take a look at his he played 4 minutes. Wait till he comes to cities like New York. It was embarrassing. And, we're still not sure when he plays. Is it game 7? Is it game 2023? Whenever it is, he'll buckle up on the road, buckle up a little at home, but really, really buckle up on the road.
I called him Tag Hour earlier, the watch company, the coach at Man U, Eric Ten Hag, whatever his name is, off to a great start with Man U, and they're worried about Ronaldo's contract. They should be worried that coach of theirs isn't going to make it another week.
Yeah, well, that's part of the whole deal. So, again, the Ronaldo thing, it's not the same as Tatis, but if you have an icon who doesn't play to the iconic status, what do you got? Well, you trade him, you cut him, you do things that icons aren't used to getting done to them. This is just another example.
All right, let's talk about sports betting at every level. How about baseball back in the bill in California? And tell me what's going on with Disney and sports betting. I've seen it all. You're going to tell me that Mickey Mouse is going to have betting kiosks at the park? I know they're doing real well with the floodwaters.
Well, yeah, but that's another problem. Mickey Mouse is going to have his mobile phone, and he's going to tell you who to bet on and what the odds are. 10 years ago, you couldn't even touch California. Now, Prop 26 is one that allows Indian gaming on Indian lands and 4 casinos. Prop 27 everywhere. And needless to say, FanDuel, DraftKings, all the big boys are supporting Prop 27, including Major League Baseball. Prediction is it passes in a landslide, and they creatively say a lot of the money is going to go to the homeless. It's going to go to infrastructure. So when the politicians already spend the money, that time exists to pass it. I think California is ready for betting.
They're looking like yes in Kansas and Maryland.
Kansas is gearing up. The governor already signed it, and they're trying to figure out exactly how to come out of the box hot. Maryland the same way. They've got a few casinos that they're testing it on. But I will tell you that Kansas and Maryland, like Ohio, took their time, didn't want to get out there really quickly. As a result, the first days they're open will be very, very lucrative for those states.
BetMGM got a nice piece of Canada.
Yeah, piece of Canada. And so when you think of what's happening in Canada, and I was up there, and we're all talking about Ontario, what do you do with it? That's going to happen right away, guaranteed.
All right, Rick, have a great trip to Harvard. Say hi to everyone for me.
Got it.
Betting Above the Rim.
There's going to be motivation in Memphis for Ja Morant. And one of the things that we had with Steph Curry, again, with him being unanimous, 2 incredible years, but also a little guy. And people love to get behind little guys. And I think Ja Morant is hungry. So for me, I think Memphis is a team to watch in the Western Conference for certain. When I'm looking for a value play, a play where I can sneak up on somebody, Ja Morant's my guy.
Betting Above the Rim. Ferrall, coast to coast.
We have the Dodgers at the favorite plus 330. Astros have moved ahead of the Yankees. That is the significant move this week for the World Series odds. And the Mets now are right behind the Yankees and are about to pass them on the odds board as well. You know that Manfred and those suits up there at Major League Baseball, Scotty, in terms of a buzz, they don't want to see any of those 4 teams get popped off. Those are the 4 teams they want at the end.
The Sports Grid Network. The Early Line.
Watson is willing to accept an 8-game suspension plus a $5 million fine.
Deshaun Watson and your camp, why didn't you say $10 million and no game suspension at this point? Because you know how this would have worked out, right, for the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson? Remember what, like, Robert Kraft would do with Bill Belichick? Oh, he spotted the Super Bowl, cost us draft picks and millions of dollars. I'm just going to give that back at the end of the year. Thanks for being my coach, and no harm, no foul at this point. Ridiculous stuff.
Only on Sports Grid.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow with your Sports News Minute, reflecting this week on soccer across the pond, the Premier League, and some of the turbulence with American owners over there. Remember when Malcolm Glazer and the Glazer family bought control of Manchester United? A lot of discussion among shareholders. Then they said, give the guy a chance. They were fairly successful. Now, Man U loses its Premier League opener to Brighton, no less. And even though it was 2-1, it was a devastating loss. The fans up in arms yet again, talking about the Glazers, and time has come to sell. Well, as we know from American ownership, just because fans are clamoring for sale doesn't automatically happen. But the Glazers seem to have parlayed 2 incredibly successful franchises, the Buccaneers over here and Man U over there, but over 6 owners of NFL and other franchises control Premier League and others, and certainly the Brits look to replace some of them with some of their own.
You got to get the BetMGM app. You can bet $10 on any baseball game any day, and if either team hits a home run, they're going to give you 200 Flambitos. That's $200. Use the bonus code MLBHR2022 to get involved. You're going to love it. The BetMGM app, the king of sportsbooks. They mean business. Carver, you won't believe this. God is my witness. Yesterday, I bet on the Kansas City Royals to upend the Dodgers at a nice price. And they upset L.A. and ended their winning streak.
They certainly did. The 12-game winning streak snapped in Kansas City by the Royals. A 4-0 win. It was a good Sunday for them. Royals have been kind of spunky. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. They were in a couple of the games. They beat the White Sox 3 out of 4. They've got some young players that have actually been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks. So good job by you there, Scotty, jumping on the Royals at the right time. Astros beat the A's 6-3. Nice Bregman, of course. We played him for the Tater Friday night. He homers on Saturday and Sunday. Nice job by Bregman. Couldn't get us across the line, though, on Friday night. Michael Brantley of the Astros is done for the season. He is having shoulder surgery. He's finished. Cardinals beat the Brewers 6-3, Scotty. So they took 2 out of 3 from that big weekend series in St. Louis. Yesterday, though, how about Albert Pujols, Scotty? 2 homers. Maybe you're right. Maybe he can get to 700 before the end of the year. Here's the second one on Bally Sports Midwest.
Ahead. The first pitch to him. Albert into deep left center. Oh my goodness! Way out of here! 3-run bomb! His second of the day! 689!
So what do you think now, Carver High needs 11?
I still don't think he gets to 700 by the end of the year. 11 homers. I know he's got, 3 in the past week because I know we played one at the end of last week, 687. He had 2 yesterday.
What kind of price?
I don't know.
What kind of price for him, to get 11 home runs? That's a hell of a bet.
You know what? We'll have to. I'm going to effort that
Research
tonight,
that.
Scotty. I'm going to talk to some people, and tomorrow on Coast to Coast, I will get a number for you. I got a couple people that I will ask, but we should. Yeah, I know we need to think of that earlier when we had Jason on the line.
Mommy
we will
has
get
got
that.
his number. Call his ass up.
We will get that for tomorrow's Coast to Coast. The Rangers beat the Mariners 5-3 yesterday, and then today they sent Chris Woodward packing. Scotty, Rangers fired Chris Woodward. He becomes the 4th manager fired this year in Major League Baseball.
I didn't even blink. I don't even know who that is.
That's why we tucked it in the middle of the baseball. We did not have to put that any higher up on the chart. The Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 7-4. Giants beat the Buccos 8-7 out in San Francisco yesterday, Scotty. I thought the Buccos had it, but unfortunately, Thiago Estrada, the walk-off in the 9th on NBC Sports California.
Well, thanks.
High drive! Left field! Out of here! And this game is over.
Their season's over, and the Pirates are the worst road team, if you ask me, in baseball. I mean, honestly, they are an atrocity away from Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, they're just as bad. But on the road, I mean, you bet against them on a road trip. Let's say they got a 6-7 gamer, they'll lose all of them. I mean, they lose every game. I mean, I can't even believe that they beat the Brewers 3 straight, but I think that was in Pittsburgh. Anywhere else, anywhere they go, all they do is lose.
It is amazing. Now, they got a lot of home games left to come. They've played a lot more games on the road, but they are 21-41 away from PNC this year. 20 games under on the road, which is really, really bad, as you say. All right, speaking of standings, I wanted to give you a couple of key ones. We already know a bunch of the divisions are kind of wrapped up, but the Centrals are not. The Guardians, with their weekend, now 2.5 games over both Minnesota and Chicago in the Central. So we've seen a little flip here. Twins finally get passed by, and Cleveland 2.5. By the way, 1-1 bottom 7. They're playing the Tigers right now in the game 1 of the doubleheader.
Yeah, there's just, I'm with you on the Guards, but there's just too much baseball left to be played.
Yeah.
Like, crowning people on the 15th of August is a dangerous way to make a living, boy.
It certainly is. In the NL Central, after this weekend, of course, Cardinals took 2 out of 3 from the Brewers, Scotty. They now have a 1.5 game lead on the Brewers in the Central. I believe
Tenuous.
they now have 5 games, left with each other this year.
Tenuous at best, but they do have an edge in that they're playing in St. Louis in the majority of those games, and they're tough at Busch, and that's a tough place to play. It's hostile, it's packed.
American League wild card after the weekend. Toronto still at the top. Seattle only a half game back of Toronto for the top wild card now. They've played very well. Tampa has the 3rd wild card after beating Baltimore over the weekend. So the Orioles are 1.5 out. Twins and the White Sox now 2 out of the last wild card. So suddenly a path is opening for those 2 teams, not just in the AL Central, Scotty. They have some wild card route as well here, only 2 games back.
So know this, that all this says to me, it speaks volumes, that the one thing that stands out to me is that the Rays games in the Bronx are enormous for Tampa.
Huge, because Tampa's the team, Scotty, that's now, yes, they won this weekend, but out of all these teams in the mix, over the past 6 weeks, they've probably played the worst out of all of them. Toronto, Seattle, Baltimore. So they needed that badly this weekend at home against the O's. All right, National League wild card. Atlanta, very secure, Scotty. 70-46. They're 6 games clear of the second wild card team, which right now is the Padres, but then it's tight. Padres are a half better than the Phillies. Phillies are 1.5 better than the Brewers. And then the Giants have kind of fallen back. They're six games out now of that last wild card spot.
That's a big 6-burger, if you ask me. So, like I said earlier, I think the Giants can celebrate all they want beating the, lousy Pirates, and their announcers freaking out that they beat the Pirates. But that's a 6-burger that's not being eaten. I don't think they're catching anybody. If they win that wild card, I'll keel over. But I'm telling you, the team to watch is San Diego, based on the news of Friday of Tatis, what it's going to do in terms of the bleeding of it, like Metallica, bleeding of me. I honestly think that the blood is spreading through the tissue and through the veins. And I'm telling you, I think that poison of that news Friday, I want to see if it matriculates and if it turns into a season killer. Last year they choked. Are they going to choke again?
Yeah. National League, basically, Scotty, it's 4 teams for 2 spots. The Mets, the Braves, the Dodgers, as far as I'm concerned, those 3 teams are in. There's some other spots that are still to be decided, but between the Padres, Phillies, Brewers, and Cards, one of those 4 teams is going to be left out when we get to October, the way it's looking right now in the National League. Those wild card series, by the way, Major League Baseball announced today, they will start the weekend of October the 7th. So that's a Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-game series. You win 2, you move on to the division series, which will start on Tuesday the 11th the following week. So the schedule for the playoffs is out. We have a lot of games tonight. Let's start now, and we will finish them after the break, Scotty. We mentioned that there is a Game 1 in Cleveland between the Guardians and the Tigers. The Game 2 will be right after it. This is a straight doubleheader. Curry and Garcia are going in game number 2 for these teams. Guardians minus 200, total 8.5.
Yeah, listen, I bet on the Guardians in both games because the Tigers stink.
Yes, I don't disagree with you there. And the Guardians now have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 7th, Scotty, as they are looking to nose ahead of the Tigers in that one. The Phillies are in Cincinnati tonight. Noah Syndergaard gets the ball for Philadelphia. Minor goes for the Reds. Minus 184 for the Phillies, plus $154 for Cincinnati. Total of 9 in this one.
I mean, when you see Minor's name on the game of the night, when you're looking at your betting slips at the beginning of the day and you see that guy starting, whatever you do, bet against the Reds. He's 1-9. He's literally jinxed.
Automatic.
He's bocce boy. All I know is I'm all over the Phillies. And I'm all over the over. I think they're going to rake this guy in Cincinnati. Yep. And he gives up 7 runs every time he's out. He's 1-9. He's awful. So, Phillies, boom. And the Phillies, they won the one game 2-1 in 10. They lost the next 1-0 and then 6-0. I don't think it was that bad of a weekend in New York for them. They can play with the Mets. They're a dangerous team. They're way better than the Reds.
And no Schwarber again tonight, by the way. Obviously did not play this weekend. He's not in the lineup tonight either for the Phillies. So that's 4 games in a row that Schwarber's going to miss. The Padres and the Fish in Miami tonight down at South Beach. Good pitching matchup, Scotty. Joe Musgrove and Sandy Alcantara going. Padres minus 152. Total of 6.5 in this one, the low total.
Well, I think Sandy will pitch well, and I like the under, but I still like the Padres. I think they'll scrape by and win a 2-1, 3-2 type game based on the Marlins simply do not hit or score runs.
20 seconds. Cubs and the Nationals tonight. Stroman and Josiah Gray. Cubs the road favorite, total 7.5.
I actually took Gray tonight in the Nationals. I don't think he's the worst pitcher, and I don't think he's any worse than Stroman. I went for it with the Nats just like I went for it with the Royals yesterday against the Dodgers.
We've got the rest of the games when we come back, including Yankees and the Rays in the Bronx tonight.
The morning after.
How do you think the Big 12 Conference plays out this season?
You have the front runners, Oklahoma and Texas. I think Oklahoma State will be there. A couple of teams you got to keep an eye out in terms of longer odds. Iowa State with Matt Campbell, there's not a lot of expectations there. And I'm buying into Joey McGuire. This defense held 8 of 13 opponents under 100 yards rushing last year, Ben. 6-2 in those games. Keep an eye out for Texas Tech.
The Sports Grid Network. The early line.
St. Louis remains the favorite right now at minus 160 to Milwaukee's plus 120.
If we're taking a look at the daily 1 through 9 at the plate, it's not even close. Like, the better lineup by far is with the St. Louis Cardinals. So with them having a 1-game lead, I do agree that they should be the favorite. But it's also an interesting division when you try to break it down in the Central because there's no pressure coming from any teams behind. Like, even though the Phillies are 10 games back from the New York Mets.
Only on Sports Grid. Ferrall, coast to coast.
The big thing, too, Scott, is I don't know what Desmond Ridder, when he's going to be on the field and when he's not. There are people already talking about if he sees the field and he doesn't really impress, if they're bad, do they go get another quarterback? Like, literally go to the top of the draft and go get a quarterback. That's going to be the next topic of conversation around here because I do think 17 games is going to feel like 5 years. And at the end of the day, do they actually believe that they've got to go get the franchise-type quarterback instead of the stable answer down the road?
The Sports Grid Network.
Pro Football Doc has found its new home right here with Sports Injury Central. And with that comes our expansion into other sports. Sports Injury Central will give you nonstop exclusive injury analysis from experienced team doctors from all 3 major sports. Doctors with resumes that include teams like the Chicago Bulls, the Texas Rangers, and the LA Chargers. So gain a fantasy, DFS, and betting edge right now for free at sicscore.com.
Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
They play less games.
The early line.
Take a look at the top 4 seeds here in the Big Ten. They're going to play less.
Aaron Rodgers and
the morning
Russell
after.
Wilson. We saw movement in the marketplace like
Fantasy Sports
the
Today.
Cleveland Cavaliers are a little thin as well.
Newswire.
Minus 160 favorite on the money line today for Arizona.
Ferrall, coast to
CBG,
coast.
that's where they win cups. They win Stanley Cups over there. Give me the
Game
Penguins.
time decisions.
Kind of bizarre when you consider everybody is out for the Warriors.
In-game live, all access.
I like Vandy against Bama. I think Vandy can win the game, take it 4.5.
In-game live, prime time.
The PGA champion.
In-game live, overtime.
All done before the final bet.
Get the winning edge. Only on Sports Grid.
All right, still grinding through baseball plays for tonight, Carver High.
Yes, we are. Let's go to the Bronx next, Scotty, where the Yankees return home after that 2-7 3-city road trip. They will face the Rays, who they've actually been pretty good against this year. Ace Ventura's on the mound. Garrett Cole against Clarence Beeks is going for the Rays, minus 255 for the Yankees. 7.5 is the total. Beeks, the crop report. Let's go.
Well, your boy Clarence has only thrown 40-some innings, so I'm not buying into his big 2.3 ERA and 2-1 record.
Opener.
Don't be fooled.
The opener.
I'm all over Cole in this game and the Yankees to get it right, and I'm going to take the under.
The Orioles open up a series in Toronto tonight. You've got Bradish going for them against Kikuchi. Gas can night up in Toronto. Minus 158 for the Jays, plus 134 for the Orioles. The total is 9. I love the over in this game, Scotty.
Well, yeah, I love it too. You're right. And the only thing good about Kikuchi is when you say his name. I think Bradish and Kikuchi both are hairdryer city. I'm on the Jays and the over. I'm with you.
Let's go. The Mets and the Braves in Atlanta tonight. Of course, the Mets took 4 out of 5 at Citi Field 2 weekends ago. Carlos Carrasco against Spencer Strider tonight. Braves minus 168. Mets plus $142. Total is 8 tonight.
Yeah, I'm on Strider because of his big mouth. He better back it up tonight because he talked a lot of crap after that embarrassing loss of 4 of 5 to the Mets at Citi. Now they're in Hot Town. I think change is certain. I think the Braves will have, coming off a nice series, they'll have an edge. He's going to strike out some guys tonight. This is a great pitching matchup with Carrasco. I like the Braves and the under here. I think both of them are going to pitch really well. It's going to be a tight game. I'm going to take Strider, take a flyer with him.
3-run homer for Andres Jimenez here for the Guardians, Scotty. They take a 4-1 lead on the Tigers in the bottom of the 7th, game 1 of that doubleheader in Cleveland. Another big game in the AL Central. The Twins return home after a bad week in Los Angeles. They have the Royals coming in. Bubic against Ryan tonight, minus 190 for Minnesota. 8.5 is the total.
Your boy Bubic hair is going to get lit up. And I like the Ryan Express and the over. Give me the Twins.
The A's are in Arlington tonight. Seattle is going for the Rangers against James Caprillion. They, of course, fired their manager this afternoon. So that means a win, right? Team's going to rally after firing the manager. Rangers are minus 164. Total's 8.
Well, I bet against Otto last week and got burned, so I'm going to bet on him tonight, and more so because he didn't, he burned me last week, so I'm going to go with him tonight more than them firing their manager nobody cares about.
Astros visit the White Sox in Chicago starting tonight. It'll be your Kitty and Cueto here. The Astros minus 124, the road favorites. White Sox plus 106, 8.5 the total.
Yeah, I like the under here. Urquidy and Cueto, I think both perform at a high level and keep it low. Cueto's been great with a 2.9. I think, Urquidy's a 3.8. I'm still taking the Astros over the White Sox. I don't care what the White Sox did this weekend. In fact, I still have the Astros as my number one play on FerrallOnTheBench.com tonight.
The Dodgers and the Brewers in Milwaukee. Urias and Peralta, the pitching matchup. Dodgers, the road favorite, minus 172, plus $144 for Peralta. 7.5 the total in Milwaukee tonight.
Yeah, I took the Dodgers, and it had nothing to do with losing to the Royals. I hit that Royals game Sunday. I did it because of Urias. I think he's flat out amazing. He's 12-6 with a 2.4 ERA. Here's another game tonight. Dangerously close on the under. I'm going to take the Dodgers and the under. I think it's a defensive game and a pitcher's game in Milwaukee.
Mariners and the Angels in Anaheim. Luis Castillo and Ohtani get the ball. Minus 110 for Seattle, minus 106 for Anaheim. 7 the total in this game.
Yeah, I'm on the under and Castillo. I took Seattle here, and I made them, get it done. I know Ohtani's great, and the rest of the Angels are garbage.
And finally, Arizona visits San Francisco tonight. Madison Bumgarner back in the place where he had so much glory, Scotty, on that mound in San Fran. He goes up against Alex Cobb. Giants minus 198, plus $166 for Bumgarner. 7.5 is the total.
I mean, I think this is an over, and the Giants, I don't care what Mad Bum did there. I know he's got all the rings and history there. That's fantastic. Not going to do him any good tonight. By the way, Walker Buehler is done for the year.
Done for the year. Dodgers just announced he's going to have elbow surgery next week, of course. He has not been out there the past couple of months for L.A. Now they know his fate for the rest of the season. All right, Scotty, there you go. The night in Major League Baseball. Let's have a good night and start the week off in the right way. NBA news for you. The schedule starting to slowly trickle out here as we get towards the end of the summer, and everybody always loves the Christmas Day games in the association. We now know what that's going to be. LeBron and the Lakers will face Luka Doncic and the Mavs in Dallas on Christmas Day. The Grizzlies and the Warriors are going to play. Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Knicks. Also have the Suns and the Nuggets in there as well, Scotty. Your Christmas Day schedule.
Well, You know, it's fantastic. There's nothing like 5 games in the NBA on Christmas, so I don't have to watch all my relatives get hammered and start cussing as the day goes on. The more they drink, the more they talk bad about you. But that Grizzlies-Warrior game is as good as it gets because John Morant and all of his friends talked a bunch of Shaq about the Warriors, who they think they should be beating, who they didn't beat, and who they watched win their 4th championship in 8 years. And the Grizzlies are still talking Shaq, that they're better than everybody. And really, they're starting to get kind of ridiculous and embarrassing. You talk big, but what did you do besides, well, you know, nothing?
Absolutely. Kind of ridiculous, and they will get their wish. They wanted them on Christmas Day. They will now get them on Christmas Day.
Is there anything worse than a team that talks Shaq and the team that they talk Shaq about wins titles? I won back-to-back titles in my league, and I got guys still talking Shaq like it never happened. I won 11 titles. I got a kid telling me it never happened. 11 championship, never. I had everything. Everyone said, let me tell you something. When you win all those chips like the Warriors, the other team needs to shut the F up. Shut up. Grow up. Shut up. And play ball. Win games, and then people will respect you. No one respects Ja Morant and his big mouth friends and his wife-beating teammates and whatever else that don't get it done.
The Warriors will also open the season and raise the banner against the Lakers on October the 18th. Lakers and Clippers will play 2 nights later at the Crypto. So that would be the return of Kawhi also, Scotty. Hopefully, Kawhi and PG-13. That might be the game where you get everybody healthy. It's early enough in the season where you might actually get LeBron, AD, Kawhi, Paul George, because that's before they all start to get hurt and take games off. So
does anyone take off more time than these guys and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and LeBron James? The biggest stars in the NBA are always injured. Have you ever noticed that? Like, take a real good look. Every superstar in that league misses tons of time. I mean, Kawhi Leonard, Christ almighty, who is that? Does anyone even remember him?
It's been a long time since we've seen Kawhi. Hopefully we get him back out there this year. Here's one, Scotty, that I'm sure fans in Milwaukee didn't want to wake up to this morning. Here's Giannis on Fox 32 in Chicago saying that he may play for the Bulls down the road. Where this came from? He's doing some charity stuff in Chicago. They asked him the question. Here's the answer he gave.
I think anybody who asks that question that plays basketball, if he said no, he'd be a liar. You know, it's a team that won multiple championships. It's a team that one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player, to ever play this game played for. So it's a no-brainer. Everybody would love to play for Chicago. Down the line, you never know. You never know how life brings it. Maybe I'll play for Chicago. But right now, I'm committed to Milwaukee.
That's not happening. And also, Carver High, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Bridges is not a teammate of the Grizzlies, the one that beats his wife. Sorry, I wanted to get that clear. I don't want to be the one dragging him and lobbing him in with the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies just talk Shaq and never back it up.
Yes. Bridges, of course, is on the Hornets, the Bridges that
and
we
they
are
suck too.
Referring to. They do
they
suck too.
They suck worse.
Many NBA stars, including Chris Paul, Devin Booker, came out to see Sue Bird's final WNBA game, Scotty. Of course, as she is retiring. Very emotional. We say goodbye to Sue Bird. Willie Z at the golf this weekend finally gets it done, Scotty. Out at the St. Jude Championship, first leg of the FedEx Cup playoff. He won on the third playoff hole against Sepp Straka. First win on the PGA Tour for Willie Z. And why did he win, Scotty? Because for the first time in 6 or 7 weeks, I didn't bet him. That's why he won, Willie Z, because I didn't play him. So he decided to finally win.
I think the Prime Minister bet him, and I just want you to know that I have not watched golf since the Open Championship.
I know you haven't. I did yesterday because I had, of course, some tickets hanging around late on a Sunday. We were getting involved.
You have putt-putt tickets, too. Like, he bets playing putt-putt with the kids.
Did you see the stuff with Cam Smith, how they gave him a 2-stroke penalty yesterday morning after he hit the ball on the out-of-bounds line on Saturday? I'm sure that had nothing to do with him
After he
going
took $100 million from Liv, now they don't like it.
Took $100 million from Liv. He had some weekend. Scotty Scheffler was walking in his line when he was trying to putt. They gave him a 2-stroke penalty a day later, so he decided this week that he's not going to play at the BMW, which is the second part of the FedEx Cup playoffs. He allegedly has a hip injury, Scotty.
No, he doesn't.
My opinion,
No, he doesn't.
he just wants to get away from them for a week. Because he's going to be at East Lake no matter what. He's in the top 5. He cannot play this week, and he'll still be at East Lake, which is the top 30 for the FedEx Cup championship. A well-needed week off for Cameron Smith coming up.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised if he wins the $15 million, whatever it is, at East Lake.
Yeah, very possible. Alabama #1 in the AP preseason top 25 for the 9th time. Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, and Notre Dame in the top 5. I will have more for that on that for you tomorrow on Coast to Coast. We're going to dive into a lot of college football stuff. Notre Dame names Tyler Buckner their starting quarterback, but they also lost their best wide receiver, Scotty, Avery Davis, done for the year with the ACL as they get ready to go to the Horseshoe in Week 1. Notre Dame and Ohio State, a top 5 game.
What do you think is
going to
happen to them there? What do you think is going to happen to them there?
Not good is what I think is going to happen to them there.
Do you think they'll cover?
I have my doubts, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, you do.
I have my doubts. I have my doubts. That's a tough spot for them. The NIT Final Four is leaving MSG. They'll be in Vegas and Indianapolis the next 2 years. That's embarrassing. Embarrassing.
It's to stay in Vegas. Nobody wants to go to Indianapolis for anything.
If you want to pick like a pro, you need to be in the know. The future of sports gaming is now, and we take you inside the lines, breaking down all the action and what it means for your bet slip. Turn down the game and tune into Sports Grid Radio. Other networks talk sports talk, but we walk the walk, right up to the window. Sports Grid Radio.
Listen free on the Sports Grid Radio app, iHeart, or TuneIn, or catch us on SiriusXM Sports Grid Channel 159.
Maurice Allen, 2015-2016 European Long Drive Tour champion, 2017 world #1. Me personally, I keep my game face on me all the time. Especially coming out of the bunker, leaving the range, or even leaving the course. What's your story?
The morning after.
Who was your pick for the home run derby tonight, or at least where you think the value on the board is?
The value for me would be with Julio Rodriguez at plus 850. And as I said at the top, the path to get there is very, very important. Pete Alonso is the favorite. He's fantastic at this. We all know this. But going up against Ronald Acuna in the first round is no easy task. I think on the other side for Kyle Schwarber, I think it's a little bit easier for him to move to the second round.
The Sports Grid Network. Fantasy Sports Today.
A running back who I am not looking to buy as much on is Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys. Had the worst season of his career effectively last year, played in every single game, only averaged 4.2 yards per carry. Really ineffective as a pass catcher, his lowest yards per target of his career. He had 284 touches, 1,200 yards, did score the 12 touchdowns.
The Sports Grid Network.
You might be the next daily fantasy millionaire. No matter what you watch or where you play, learn from the world's best DFS players. Lineup building tools, expert projections, and advanced stats change the way you play the game. Dominate the competition. DailyRoto.com, the player's choice.
The Early Line.
Is it almost too on the nose that Kyrie Irving was supposed to show up to the Drew League and left everybody leaving themselves questioning where Kyrie was?
Because you're right. Can you imagine even though it's a Drew League, we're not even talking about all NBA players. But if they're in the same backcourt here, how he gets 7, 8, 9 assists there in the first half. They're really going up and down the court, 2-on-1 fast breaks, alley-oops here to LeBron James.
Only on Sports Grid.
Fast forward for all in your facial, the Ferrall finish. Tempers flared at the end of the Chelsea-Tottenham match. Did you see the managers, Conte and Tuchel, going at each other? They, started a fight. I mean, it was awesome. The one guy grabbed the other guy's hand. Conte got grabbed by Tuchel. He yanked him around, and then they got right in each other's faces, and all hell broke out. It was awesome. Teofimo Lopez destroys Pedro Campa, and a negative 3,000 people watched the fight. Rory McDonald retires from MMA as the biggest D-head ever in MMA. BJ Penn only gets 25% of the vote in the Hawaiian governor race because he's a drunk lush and no one trusts him, and he's been arrested 50 times, and he's a piece of shack. Adrian Broner withdraws from his fight with Omar Figueroa because he's got mental health problems. You better effing believe he's got mental health problems. He's the biggest asshat I've ever met in my life. Rot in hell. Georgia murder suspect wanted by police calls 911 over cold fries at McDonald's. Now that's someone I can admire. Florida preschool teacher caught repeatedly punching a 4-year-old charged with felony abuse. Len Dawson, the Hall of Fame legend who I met when I was a little boy when I was 7, is in hospice care now. Man attacks 3 people with machete at a Dick's Sporting Goods store that Carver High goes to in Strong Island after the guy tried to buy a rifle. That didn't work out, so he grabbed a machete and started swinging at people. Awesome. A grocery store chain, Kroger, in Ohio, is opening up sports betting kiosks at the store. Excuse me, where's the milk? It's right down by the sports betting kiosks in aisle 9, ma'am. 2 boys aged 12 and 15 stab a gas station worker to death. Now that I would pay to see. Honestly, I got to tell you, the 2 kids going all ballistic on some guy. Man convicted of child sexual assault drinks a mystery liquid in court and dies. The guy was going to prison for life and instead drank the secret formula to kill himself in court. Isn't that like the secret pill you drop before you die? Or that makes you die? Because you're going to go away for life? GTD is next. We'll see you tomorrow. Coast to coast.